Nice,
Okay.
great.
Are you ready to talk about things that go bump in the night?
You bet.
Okay. Now, this is quite a crazy topic, but it should be fun. Anybody that knows me well knows that all my life I have been blessed with living in places where things happen. This is the first time, well, actually, this is the second time because I did live somewhere once back in the mid 80s that was perfectly fine. Nothing happened, everything was peaceful, it was all good until we allowed people to move in with us. And then all that changed, and then that place became like all the other places I ever lived. But this place, I haven't had any problems until my children came out to stay with me over the summer. And then I think I mentioned to you I started seeing shadows of people and shadows of animals. But since the kids have left, and this was one of our experiments, I have not seen any shadows.
See? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So they haven't been gone that long, but it's off to a good start. There have been no shadows since they left.
And that makes sense because we suspected that whatever it was, they brought it with them.
Yeah.
But I'm so thrilled that it stopped when they left.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So I know that there are a lot of people out there who doesn't believe in anything. You know, you start talking about ghosts and supernatural and stuff, and they don't want to hear it. If you're one of those people, just hit the stop button right now and stop listening, because that's what we're talking about today.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I think that, well, in my opinion, ghosts are energy. It's all energy. Everything's energy. And that's scientifically proved. Everything is energy. So I think I'm pretty safe in saying that ghosts and things are energy. Now, I've had most of my experiences have not been good, but they haven't been horrible. Like things move around, they come and go, like I'll lose important papers or something, but they always come back. The only thing I didn't have come back was money. That one time I had in my closet, like, I don't know, $800 worth of money. And it disappeared and it did not come back. But other than that, everything that's ever been gone, it can come back within the same day. It can come back months. I had a mustard seed that was my mom's, and I kept it in the bathroom drawer. It was safe there, and that's where I kept it. One day I went and I opened the drawer and it was gone. And I was devastated. I was like, oh no, where is it? It took a year for it to come back, and it came back in the exact same place in the drawer. Car keys vanish. You lay them on the table, you're watching TV or something, you go back to the table to get them, the keys are gone. You find them in the middle of your bedroom floor. Things like that constantly going on in my life in the past. Not since I moved here, but it was a constant. And I dealt with it pretty good. I was always like, whatever, it'll come back. I just got to the point, I was just like, whatever. I know it'll be back. I don't care. It was annoying if I needed something, though. Like, if I needed it immediately and I was being impatient because, like, you want to go somewhere, you need those keys. You don't want to sit around waiting, especially if it's an appointment or something. It's like, give me back my keys now. But that's that, and the moving around stuff was the big thing. Along with that, I'd have the doors opening and closing on their own. The one place I lived, I actually had a smell. The one bedroom in the house had this horrible stench. Horrible. I can't even describe what it smelled like. And it wasn't in any place in the house except that one room. And I went through all the trouble. I scrubbed the walls down, scrubbed the carpet. I took the mattress outside and aired it out. I put incense in the room. I did everything. And no matter what I did, I could not get rid of that smell. And then one day, it just was gone. It just left. And till this day, I don't know what that was, but that was very unpleasant. You know, having a room in your house with a stench, especially someone's bedroom, is just kind of that's not a good thing. Now, I know you've had experiences too, but the experience that was worse for me was being able to actually see entities. And it used to scare the hell out of me when I was younger. This started happening to me when I was in my early 20s. And I would see like all these people, and they were hideous looking, and they'd be like reaching for me, and all of them talking at once, and it would just scare the bejeebies out of me. I'd be like, get away from me, you know. And that went on forever, years and years and years, and I just was always like, leave me alone, get away from me. And everybody I told, you know, were like, well, talk to them, see what they want. It's like, I don't want to talk to them. You know, they're like, I felt like they were after me, you know, reaching out and everyone talking at once. And quite frankly, they were hideous looking. So I did not enjoy that at all, but thank God it stopped.
James Van Praagh, Praagh, I think is how his last name is spelled, is like one of the most famous mediums on the planet at this time. He what's the word? When they shot Ghost Whisperer, the show, the television series, he was a consultant to that show. And the things that happened in the show, a lot of them came from James Van Praagh's own personal experiences. And one of the shows, they show what you just described about all the people being there, and they're all trying to talk at once, and they're all after you. And James Van Praagh explained that the reason that what's really going on there is that the people that have crossed over, this is his wording, the people that have crossed over, they know who can hear and see them and who can't. And so when they find someone that they know can see them and hear them and has that gift, they run after them. Yeah. Yeah. What does monks say? It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. They chase after them because they're wanting to get messages back to their loved ones or people or who killed them, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But they're wanting to get messages back, and they know that that particular person can hear/see, whatever the case may be, them. And so it's so funny because that's just straight out of James Van Praagh's own personal experiences, and they chose that as one of the scenes on Ghost Whisperer.
Well, I could never understand them. They were all always talking at one time, so it was like everybody just screaming at me, and it terrified me. I was always like, oh my God, get away from me.
Right. There's another one, and I can't think of his name right now. He has a medium show on Blog Talk Radio, Joseph somebody. And he described pretty much the same thing. His started when he was like his early teens. And he was saying in the beginning he just wanted it to go away. He would take drugs to try to make it stop, anything he could do to try to stop the people from coming to him all the time. And he said the same thing as you, is that you can't understand what they're saying because they're all talking at one time and they're all talking over each other, and so it's like blah, 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 you know, you can't even understand anything. he said he eventually got angry and he told them, look, y'all talk one at a time or I'm not talking to anybody. And it worked for him.
Wow.
When he did that.
I never thought of that. I didn't even know what was going on. I mean, I was just like,
right.
Who are you? Why are you after me? You know?
Right. Well, he said he got angry. He knew what it was. And he got angry with them. And like I said, he just told them, I'm not going to talk to any of you until y'all calm down and speak to me one at a time. And if you can calm yourselves and speak to me one at a time, then I'll communicate with you and I'll give your messages for you. But I am not doing anything for you as long as y'all are talking at one time and following me all over the place. And, there was a lady that I think I saw it on YouTube. There was a lady who had that gift and she had the same problem. And she had a business, a workplace that she would go to, and they would try to follow her home. And she would tell them, you follow me home, I am not giving any messages for you. I am not speaking to you. I'm not communicating with you. You will not follow me home. And if they followed her home, she would ignore them. She wouldn't have anything to do with them. But the ones that would speak to her when she was at work, then those she would try to help. Help them pass over, give a message for them, whatever the case may be. Those she helped. But not the ones that followed her home. And so apparently you can lay boundaries with them. But you got to know what's going on before you can do that. Because if you don't even know what's going on, how are you going to do that?
There was like a bunch of ugly ghosts trying to kill me. Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
no, actually they're just wanting to communicate. But you just got to lay the line.
I didn't know they were like grabbing at me and stuff. You're trying to get me. So that's the only thing came in my mind was they were after me. It never occurred to me that they wanted to tell me something. I thought they were just like an angry mob chasing me. It's like,
no. But apparently you can, with your emotions and your intentions, you can set boundaries with them and tell them, look, this is the way it is. You speak to me one at a time. You speak to me nicely. You speak to me plainly, or we're not going anywhere. If I can help you, I will. If I can't, maybe I can tell you somebody who can, or, like James Van Praagh or whatever. But, apparently you can lay boundaries with them and tell them, this is the way it's going to be. If you follow along with these boundaries, I'll try to help you. And if you don't, forget it. I'm not doing anything for you. Well, and they don't want you to not help them.
Yeah, now I feel kind of bad, that I wasn't able to help them. But
well, don't, because you didn't know.
I didn't know. I thought they were after me.
Right.
I just wanted them to go away. I was like, get away from me.
You can't, do you feel guilty that you can't speak Chinese?
No.
I mean, you just can't. And it's the same thing. You don't need to feel guilty or feel bad or anything like that because you didn't know.
Yeah.
And eventually they figured it out because eventually they left you alone.
Well,
and so they eventually figured out.
During the time that there was that horrible stench in the bedroom, I started playing, I don't even remember, it was thing about, it was music, and it would talk to the entities and spirits and stuff and help guide them to the light. And I put that in that bedroom, and I played it 24/7, just continuously.
No wonder the smell went away.
Yeah.
You helped whoever it was cross over.
Yeah, I figured it would help at the time, so I did. But I think by doing that, all those ones that were after me, I think I might have got rid of them that way too, because it just like all of a sudden stopped. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that is so cool. I love it.
All I was trying to do is get rid of the stench, but in hindsight, I think it was a good idea.
Yes, it was. And it was exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
So even though you didn't know what to do or know what was going on, you still gave them what they needed.
I even went to a church and got holy water, and I put holy water around the room. I saged the room. I did everything I could think of trying to get that stench out. I mean, the stench was that bad. It made you gag. It was horrible. But what was funny was it didn't come out in the hallway or any of the other rooms. It stayed confined in the one bedroom.
That's right. Well, that was because the vibrational imprint that happened that caused that smell happened in that bedroom. It was its location. That's where it happened. Yeah. So that makes total sense.
Well, I think I told you this before, but I'm not sure. I had a really close friend whose boyfriend got killed at work. Horrible, horrible accident. And his whole face was like removed in this accident. And at the time that this happened with me, I didn't know he was dead yet. Okay? And I'm in my shower, minding my own business, getting a shower. And this person shows up in my shower and asks me to give my friend a message. And I'm standing there in the shower, freaking out, like, okay. And he told me the message to tell her, which I did. And at the time, it meant nothing to me. I was like, that is the silliest thing in the world. You know, he wanted to know why she didn't talk to him when they were playing cards. And he wanted to say that he forgave her for not talking to him while they were playing cards. So I'm just like, okay. Now, I'm in the shower, and like this person's there, so I'm like thinking, why are you in my shower? Of all the places to be, why are you in my shower with me? And he was hideous looking.
Because water thins the veil between the worlds, remember?
Right.
Water is a conduit, and so when you're in water, they can communicate easier with you. That's why he came to you in the shower.
Well, needless
you
to
were
say,
in water.
I got done that shower very quickly after that.
I bet.
And I was out of there in a split second, wrapped in a towel, running from my bathroom, going, oh my gosh, please don't anybody visit me in my shower. It's like,
That's funny.
and I gave her the
God.
message, and she freaked out. She started crying, and she told me the story of what had happened, and it just really freaked her out. And I told her, you know, I was like, she told me he was dead. And she was crying hysterically, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm so sorry, you know, I didn't know he had the accident and died and everything, and I didn't even know that was him. He had no face. And she told me, when she told me what happened, that he was damaged beyond recognition in his accident. So that was kind of freaky there.
Yes.
But that was one that I was able to give a message and help, because he was there by himself. I totally understood what he said, and I relayed the message. So, and I never saw him again after that, thank God. So.
Yeah, right. Well, you delivered his message, and he was okay then. You know, that's what he needed that message to be delivered. And a lot of them, from what I understand from James Van Praagh, that's the way they are. They have just a message, you know, I forgive you for something, or I want you to know where something is, or, you know, some kind of important message, and then that's it. They're done.
Yeah. Well, I wish now, you know, if I had known then what I know now, I could have helped a lot of them, but I didn't have a clue. I just thought they were after me. I thought it was just an angry mob of ghosts following me around. It was like,
yeah, but see, I think you did help them. I think you accidentally helped them somehow,
like getting rid of the
intuitively.
stench, yeah.
You knew to put that recording in there, and that's another vibration. You know, it's not like they can't pick up that vibration. They can. And so you did help them. You just didn't realize what you were doing. You didn't know.
Right.
And there was so many of them. I'm sure a lot of them, the deal was, I mean, because what are the odds that you would have known anybody that they knew?
Right.
But you could have helped them cross over.
That's true, because even if they said to me, could you tell Donna
Yeah.
this?
Right.
Who's Donna? You know, it's like,
Yeah,
what are you
right.
talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you could help them cross over.
Yes.
And so that may have been what most, if not all of them wanted anyway, was just help us cross over, help us cope with where we're at, help us cope with what happened, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so intuitively, you somehow knew to have that tape playing or whatever it was. I guess that would have been a cassette tape back then.
Yeah, it was a cassette tape.
Yeah. And so somehow intuitively, you knew the solution. So even though you weren't aware of, yes, I'm helping them, you still did,
Yeah.
you know. And the proof of that is that the smell left.
Yeah.
That's the proof that you helped them. And, you know, who knows where that place was location-wise may have been at a portal, you know. And if you're at a portal where people are trying to cross over, if there was a lot of them stuck there, I'm sure it did smell. You know what I mean?
Well, I just the one day I went in the room and there was that stench. Hadn't been there prior. It was there then though, and then it was there for months. I could not get rid of it. I tried everything I could think of, and then I put that tape recording in there and just left it play over and over and over and over and over, and it went away. And I was like, huh.
How long from the time that you got there till the stench came?
A while. I had lived there probably over a year before that stench got in that room.
Okay, because the reason I asked is I was wondering if perhaps they discovered that you were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then congregated there.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I, till this day, don't know what the stench was.
Yeah,
But-
well, and it doesn't matter because whatever it was that was needed, you did it. Again, proof is because the smell left. And just intuitively, you just knew what to do. I love the way that works.
Yeah.
Our higher self always knows what to do. Always.
Yeah. So what kind of experiences have you had?
Well, I think the most significant ones that I've had, I'll talk about the haunted house in Houston in a minute, but the most significant ones I've had are the people that passed over and then came to visit me. And for me, that always happened in dreams. When I communicate with the other side, it's in dreams. I don't know why. And so I've had several people that passed that would come to me afterwards and say some kind of message to me. I love you, thank you, whatever. The last one that happened, and I think I told you about this, was when Anna's grandma passed. Anna's grandma passed over, and then we were told about it shortly after she passed. And I didn't think anything as far as, oh, she's going to come see me. You know, I didn't think anything like that.
Right.
I was sad to hear that she passed. I listened to the story of what happened and, you know, that kind of thing. Well, then one night, shortly after I knew that she passed, she came to me in a dream. And I haven't decided if when I see people that have passed over, I haven't figured out yet if it's a dream or if it's a reality that feels like a dream. And I suspect it's the latter for several different reasons, but because it's so vivid and so real. Anyway, I'm there, and there's a knock at the door, and I open the door, and it was Anna's grandmother and grandfather. He had passed long before her. It was both of them. And it was so interesting because he was not there for himself. He was there for her. And it became very obvious because he came in his long coat and his hat and, you know, dressed like they used to dress. And he took off his hat, He went over and he sat down. He never said a word. But she came in and came up to me, and we hugged and said our I love yous, and she just, I mean, you know, she was like, I knew that I loved you. And just, you know, it was a moment of sharing that was just precious, and it was one of those things when it's over, you just go, okay, all peace. Anything that may have happened, anything, you know, that was not settled, everything is at peace now. And it's one of those. And that's what a lot of my dreams of people that have passed over are. It's like something is resolved, something is over, something is finished. The one exception was Jess. Not long after he died, and I thought that I was awake and decided later that I must have been asleep. So I don't know if I was or not. But when I was tiny, when they first had me, before I was adopted, he used to come to my bedroom door and just look in the bedroom door to see if I was okay, and then he would walk away. Now, more than a decade went by that he stopped doing that, but that's what he did in the very beginning. Well, after he passed, I thought I saw him in my bedroom door looking in on me like he used to when I was a child, when I was a baby, or young, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, I later decided that that was a dream, but I don't know if it was or not, because when it happened, I thought I really saw him. So who knows? But he's the only one. No conversation took place. Nothing was said.
He was just checking.
There was no hug, no interaction. Yeah, he just looked in the door and then walked away, which is what he used to do when I was little. So I don't know. But anyway, so that's, as far as seeing people that have passed, they come to me in dreams or what seem to be dreams. It's in the nighttime. It's always in that state, in that time. I lived in a house in Houston, and it's the only haunted house that I'm aware of that I ever lived in. But this one was just crazy. And I know what you mean about moving things, finding them other places. I would, for example, the one that drove me the craziest is I would set the toaster to light, because that's the way I liked my toast. Every day, it was back over to the dark. I'd set it back to the light, it would be back to the dark. Constant, ongoing, never stopped. Things would just jump off of the fireplace mantle. I mean, they would be there, boom, they're in the floor.
Yep.
And doors. Now, that's the one I hated the most. I hated when the doors slammed, because it's a loud noise. You're not expecting it. It startles the snot out of you. You know what I mean? I hated that, but it happened a lot. And I was, at that particular time, I was married to an alcoholic who was just, God love him, he was in need of some mental health. And he told me one time I had left the house and he was there alone. And that very rarely happened. It only happened a few times that I was gone and he was there. And every time what he would report back to me is that as soon as I would leave, all hell would break loose in there. Everything was like flying around the room. The doors were slamming constantly and windows were opening and closing. And I mean, just insane activity was going on when I was gone. And as soon as I would come back in, it would stop. Now, I wasn't there when it happened, so I don't know, but that's what he used to say. And I don't understand if or how or why my presence may or may not have changed what was happening. But I know I had enough of it that I knew there was something really weird about that house.
Yeah.
But that's the only haunted house I lived in.
I've had luck of, from my very first house I ever got, every one of them up through the years was the same way. It was like, I don't know how I managed to do it. I don't know if the things followed me. I don't know if I was just lucky in
No,
choosing houses. I don't know what
I
happened.
don't believe that they followed you. And I think the proof of that is you went to where you are now and everything stopped. So, no, I don't think that they followed you. I think, freaky as it happened, that you just happened to end up, and maybe for a purpose, maybe not, I don't know. But it seemed like you just ended up in places that had entities attached to it. And that last house, my goodness, I was so glad you got out of there. I didn't know what to do with myself. I remember one time you told me, I don't know if this house is going to let me go. And I was like, yes, it will. Yes, it will. You're going to get out of there. Oh, my God.
I hated that house.
You are going to, oh, my gosh. Well, remember you sent me the pictures? And I could feel it from the pictures. I don't know how you survived staying there that long. I really don't.
It was crazy.
I was so relieved when you got out of there. I was just thrilled. Because I was like, okay, everything is going to change now. Because now she is out of there. And I think that they drained you constantly. Remember we had talked before in one of our other videos about when you're being constantly drained by energy vampires, you don't have the energy that you need to be manifesting what you need for your own life.
Right.
And I think they just constantly drained you.
Yeah.
How are you going to manifest the things in your life that you need and want, that you desire, that you have passion for, when you're constantly being drained?
Yeah.
And
well,
I think
my son had a friend there at that house, and she's very sensitive. And she, after the first time of coming in that house, refused to come in the house. She would not step foot in that house. She's like, nope, I'm not coming in. She's like, bad things are here. I will not come in that house.
When I saw the pictures, I knew bad things were there. There was just no doubt in my mind. I could see it, not see it as in see something. I could feel it. I could sense it, however you want to word it. All I had to do was look at the pictures, and I knew this is not okay. This is not right. And if it's so strong that you can see it in a picture of something,
yes,
then you know it is really serious.
Yeah, many people that came to visit there said the same thing. They're like, I don't like this place. There's something bad here, you know.
But it stayed there, and proof of that is when your kids came, they brought that residual thing with them. Thank God it wasn't strong enough for you to see
it was just
the shadows. Right.
Which is unfortunate, though, because my kids are still back there.
But not for long.
Right.
Remember, we're manifesting that they're leaving
in that house, oh my gosh, from 1996 until what?
2013?
Yeah. Yep.
Way too long.
Way too long. Yeah.
Thank God you're out of there. And I could see it. Remember when I first saw you where you are now, it's like, oh my gosh. You could just see it on your countenance, how different you were there. I mean, it was like you were lighter, brighter, just, of course, all your energy wasn't being sucked out of you.
Right. That helps.
Yes, energy is a vital thing.
It is. Well,
Anna, I'm sorry, let me throw in one more story, and then you can wrap it up. I'm sorry.
That's
Anna Joy, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
She's multi-disabled. When her grandpa, this same grandpa that I said came to the door with the grandma, this grandpa, when he passed away, we had just seen him at the hospital, and he was supposed to be released that next day to go to a care center to get well enough to go home. but he was well enough to be released from the hospital. So we had just left him, and he was better, and he was coming home the next day, or to the care center to come home. Mm-hmm. And Anna Joy, she was like 4 or 5 maybe. She comes up to her dad and I, and she says, "Grandpa's dead." And we said, "Honey, no, he's not. We just saw him. He's doing better. He's coming home. He's coming home tomorrow. All is well." She goes, "Nope, Grandpa's dead." Right after she told us that, we get a phone call from the hospital telling us he immediately took a bad turn and was gone.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she obviously communicated with him mm-hmm. and somehow knew exactly what he was saying and what it meant. Now, maybe he sat with her and explained it to her. I don't know. But she obviously communicated with him, and obviously he told her that he had passed because she knew before we got the phone call. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. She's so gifted. She blows my mind. Anyway, just wanted to throw that one more story in there.
Well, I hope that people will share their stories with us about their experiences, and we'll see what happens from there.
Right. Tell us what's happened to you and
right.
what you thought about it and how you got away from it or didn't.
Right, or what you did with it, how you dealt with it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We would love to have the comments.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, on that note,
all right.
I will catch you back here in a minute, and I'm going to sign off of this.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll
Waiting
be right
to hear
here.
from y'all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.